What's good, everybody? Ryan Wesley Routh. Who is he? He is the attempted assassination attempt. He's the one who did that this past 2 days ago on Trump's golf course in Palm Beach County. But who is he? Why did he do this? There's a lot of news circling around MSM. He's in the Ukraine war. He's in a BlackRock ad. There's so much news, so much BS circling around. Let's get to the bottom of this. But who is Ryan Routh? Let's get right into it. Let's deep dive into this 58-year-old man and the events leading up to the attempted assassination attempt of former President Trump. The second one in 2 months. He was born in around 1965 or 1966. Limited information is available right now on his childhood. There's not a lot of information out about his childhood right now. He seemed to have been a secretive man. He's believed to be a U.S. citizen or a resident. He was born in Greensboro, North Carolina, but he lived in Hawaii. He did have an extensive criminal history. Specific details on his criminal history are unclear right now related to the charges, what he got charged with in his past criminal charges and offenses. His political views and activities are out there. He demonstrated shifting political alliances over the time. He, supported Tulsi Gabbard. He donated over $140 to the Democratic Party. So his political views and ideology is shifting from the left to the right. He supported politicians like Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. So his political leanings were left to right. So I wouldn't see really a political motivation to do this if he's left to right on the political spectrum, supporting Tulsi Gabbard to Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump. He also self-published a book called Ukraine's Unwinnable War, expressing strong opinions on political figure involvement in the Ukraine war. Now let's talk about his Ukraine extent. What did he do in Ukraine? Why was he in Ukraine? We've seen all these videos float around of I think it was Newsweek interviewed him while he was in Ukraine, and obviously the New York Times interview of this man who's recruiting internationally to find fighters for Ukraine. He actually lived in Ukraine for 5 months regarding the Russia and Ukraine war, supporting the war efforts against Russia. If you see the video of the Newsweek, I'm gonna put it up, you can tell he's so adamant on this narrative that Russia is the bad guy, USA, Ukraine, Europe is the good guy. It's a battle between good and evil. You could tell how adamant he is. You could look in his eyes and see that this guy is really brainwashed. Someone put something in his head that he's just not changing his political standpoint and view on it. He was involved in creating the International Volunteer Legion. He served as a liaison between international fighters and the Ukraine Defense Ministry. So he had government connections within Ukraine. He was tapped in, you could say, with the deep state in Ukraine, with the government entity in Ukraine, the defense ministry, because he's out here recruiting, so he needs to have a government connection somehow. And he claimed to recruit Afghan soldiers into the Ukraine war, and he made a bunch of unrealistic claims in a Newsweek interview claiming about arranging U.S. military support for Afghan soldiers to fight in Ukraine, but these are kind of irrational statements. With doing this, you would need government help, and if he's actually telling the truth here, that means the U.S. government is involved now, but these are kind of irrational, baseless claims that nobody has yet to prove yet. He's interviewed by the New York Times reporter Thomas Gibson Neff, who described him as a peculiar character. The New York Times interviewer knew this guy, Ryan Wesley Routh, was kind of, off the edge a little bit. He wasn't there mentally. Tanya Lukanova from Free Press, is actually Free Press that interviewed him on the video in Ukraine, not Newsweek. She noted that he appeared to be off something. He was just not on his game. He did not look like he was normal, as one can say. It was during the 2023 interview she was saying this. Now let's talk about the assassination attempt. On September 15th, 2024, he was spotted near the Trump International Golf Club in Florida. The FBI pinged his phone to be there 12 hours before the shooting. So around 1 to 2 a.m. he was there, scouting out, most likely to see where he can set up base camp. He was armed with an AK-47 style rifle with the barcode scratched off so the gun can't be tracked. And he was positioned 300 or 500 yards away from where Trump was standing at. He fired shots near Trump while he was golfing, but luckily the great Secret Service, amazing people intervened, shot at him back before he can really seriously get off a good amount of shots at Trump. Trump went down, and that's when they started to chase him. Then he was apprehended by Secret Service agents before even harming Trump, before he can, do more damage. He left behind a rifle, 2 backpacks, a GoPro camera, which all this suggested he planned this beforehand, and there was extensive planning involved behind this attempted assassination attempt. The current situation right now is he's being charged with multiple federal gun offenses, and there's investigations ongoing. Ron DeSantis personally said that he, as the governor, is going to take over the investigation. He's going to do a parallel investigation alongside with the FBI and DOJ. So they're going to have their own findings, and DOJ and FBI are going to have their own findings. And he's saying the main reason for this is because the DOJ and the FBI are the main institutions that are out here pushing for lawsuits against Trump, and they're the ones now investigating the Trump assassination, which is kind of lopsided if you ask me. And the good thing about it is if this happened in Florida, so Ron DeSantis can take control of the investigation and handle all the evidence and the evidence retention, so the evidence just somehow doesn't go missing. And of course, he's facing serious legal consequences for the attempted assassination on the former President Trump. In conclusion, what I think, Ryan Wesley Routh is just a real character. It's real weird that, you know, all this stuff about Ukraine. He was in the Ukraine war. He had to be connected with the government if he's recruiting for Ukraine, and he was connected with the defense ministry of Ukraine. A lot of government connections there. Right now, it's a lot of unanswered questions. You really can't come up with. Ryan Wesley Routh is the perfect candidate for someone in the CIA. I'm not saying anything here, but someone for the CIA to recruit someone to do the job if they wanted to take out Trump, if they wanted to. I'm not saying anything here. This is all my own suggestions, but he is the perfect kind of character. I'm not saying anything here. He could have just been a whack job, that's what it's looking like to be, him being a whack job, and he just decided to do this because at this point it was probably for the betterment of the Ukraine and Russia situation. But yeah, I think Ryan Wesley Routh is real weird, not there mentally, and you could say that he has a lot of connections, and only raises the questions of, was this part of a bigger conspiracy? That's what hopefully Ron DeSantis in the Florida legislature come to the conclusion that I hope that's their main focus in their investigation. But is this part of a broader conspiracy? But let's see what happens. This just happened 2 days ago. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. But yeah, that was Ryan Wesley Routh. That was a YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want the truth, the real news, subscribe, like, comment, because I'm gonna be giving that to you guys unbiased as well. That's hard to find nowadays. Well, hope you guys enjoy and have a great day.